Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plug Live. It's Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. And man, yeah, an unusual and rare Wednesday stream this week, gentlemen, but there were some scheduling conflicts. That's all right. I'm your host, Chris Patrick, with Michael Benjamin, VSP Tallman, and VSP Neeks this evening. We have, this is the last time I'll say it, Mike. This is the last time I'll say it. We have retired the roundtable stream name, and we will no longer be doing that. We'll going forward just have VSP Live, Pass the Outlet, and the Heat Check podcast are our main three, and then possibly Valley of the Suplex could return in 2026 as well. Don't want to promise anything, but you never know. But gentlemen, before we get into all of that, which there is a lot to get into, that's the Arizona Diamondbacks trade for the perennial Gold Glove third baseman Nolan Arenado. Sam Leavitt has signed with LSU. There's more coaching madness in the NFL. Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach after, I think, like 19 seasons. It's crazy. And then ASU will play UofA in basketball this evening. But gentlemen, want to give you a chance to introduce yourselves. Mr. Benjamin, how are you doing this evening?
We're doing great. VSP Live. We rocking and rolling. Neeks, it's good to see you, man. I know you've been a busy guy. You got to tell the people where you're working at now, too, when you get your time. But I got to pass it over to VSP Tallman. Tallman, when are you going to tell me what jersey you want? I'm ready to pay up, man.
Oh, Michael, I know. I'm okay. Should I tell it right now? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go sweat. Give me that sweat jersey.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm gonna go sweat.
Okay.
I don't want to be the 15,000 Trey McBride jersey in the stadium. I want to switch it up a little bit. So give me the sweat jersey. But guys, oh man, it's beautiful when we have some baseball news, because you know what that means. That means we are very, very close to the start of the season. And you guys know how I feel about baseball. And we're coming into the best time of the sporting calendar, I would say. You got the NFL playoffs, college football coming to end, basketball, college basketball, baseball. So it's a good time right now. I'm going to lose a lot of money, I'm sure, over the next couple months, but at least I have a free jersey.
Oh man, don't bet on baseball. That's all I'm going to say is don't bet on baseball.
It's so much fun though, man. I don't know.
Is it?
It's different. It's got a different dynamic to it, but you always lose though, it seems like.
Fair. I know someone who I think will be looking forward to betting on baseball this year, potentially. Neeks, what's up, man? How you been?
What's up, guys? I can actually bet on baseball this year. What a crazy concept. Yeah, I've been busy. Things have been happening. Of course, everybody knows we have Nash. Still, she just turned a year about a month ago, so life has been crazy with the baby. But I'm currently employed at the TPC of Scottsdale on their greenskeeping crew, and I will be there, as far as I know, until they decide that I'm not. So it's exciting. It's fun stuff. I will be honest with you guys. The baseball field is a much easier dig than the golf course. It is, you're up at 3:45 in the morning. So you're out at the course, in the dark with a headlamp on, hand raking PGA quality bunkers. It's some tough work, boys, but it's fun. It's fun, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be on. It has been a while. It feels nice to be back in the saddle with the boys.
Oh, man, that's awesome. We're glad to have you back. Happy to have you here, Niko. Man, sounds like you're probably going to be busy over the next month and a half or so, I'd imagine. I'm sure they prepared you for that, but I can't wait to hear all about what that's like and your time working there. But guys, like I said, we do have a lot to get into. I want to thank everyone joining us live for being here. Make sure you leave a comment, let us know, say hello. If you're watching on the playback, we appreciate you as well. You can also leave a comment. We are very active in responding to those comments. And make sure you like and subscribe right here on our Valley Sports Plug YouTube channel. You can follow us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. All of our links are going to be right down in the description below, and we're going to be available next day, every stream on audio streaming only platforms as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so much more. Fellas, without further ado, the Arizona Diamondbacks made that trade with the St. Louis Cardinals for Nolan Arenado, a player we are very familiar with here locally, as he spent a lot of his career with the Colorado Rockies. And I believe it was in his introductory press conference, even acknowledged that it was the 2017 wild card game. Archie Bradley, Tallman, keep me honest here, I believe he hit a triple in that game. And so Nolan Arenado mentioned kind of not loving Torey Lovullo during his time with Colorado, but he was happy to be here. Said that the Diamondbacks organization always seemed to be very buttoned up and professional, and he's ready to get to work. So a lot of speculation immediately about his role. Mike Hazen, I think, went on the radio and said that he would be an everyday third baseman, which kind of starts opening up questions about Jordan Lawler, Blaze Alexander, and you know, all that type of stuff. But Tallman, I want you to kick it off for us. What was your immediate reaction to the trade for Nolan Arenado?
Yeah, well, first you mentioned the Archie Bradley triple. I think that was when he shit his pants, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
I pooped my pants.
I pooped my pants.
Oh man, that's good stuff. No, this is everything about this is a win-win. I mean, there's no risk. This is such an easy choice. Roll of the dice. I mean, somebody that has been an absolute Dbacks killer with his time with the Rockies, but of course, we're not getting that same player, right? The dude's going to be 35 years old when the season starts, but it's you got to look at what do we have to lose with this? I mean, you got the St. Louis Cardinals to pay, I mean, 80% if more of his salary. We're only paying him $5 million this year, $6 million next year, and I mean, even though the bat might be down, because that's what's really been declining over, you know, as he's gotten older, is his offense. But defense, man, I mean, I'm not going to say any of the stats, not because I don't have them written down, but I know that Mike has all the stats, which I'm sure he'll all the accolades that that Arenado has over his career. But I mean, he's filling a huge hole for this team. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We needed a third baseman. It's probably one of our biggest holes. We can argue the same with the first base position as well. But he comes in, and I mean, you're going to slot him in there. He's not going to play every single day. We know how Torey Lovullo is with the player rest. I mean, especially with his age. So you're going to see a little bit of a platoon there at third base. But I mean, that's just absolute, just buttons up that position defensively. And if we get any production from with him at the plate from his bat, I mean, that's a plus. It's honestly a plus. But this was some great news, and this was not what I expected at all. But it was good to see that the D-backs acted quickly. We all saw the rumors about the D-backs being in the sweepstakes for Alex Bregman, potentially having to trade Ketel Marte to be able to bring in Bregman. Bregman signed with the Cubs, I believe, and then immediately you saw the D-backs turn around and they flipped this trade over to the Cardinals, which given up basically nothing. I mean, no offense to the kid from ASU that we drafted last round, Jack Martinez, the right-handed pitcher. But I mean, really, that pitcher was not going to be somebody that was going to play or, you know, contribute to this team this year. So this is just an absolute no-brainer. And I think Mike Hazen hit it out of the park.
And Tallman, I appreciate you throwing the cheese right down the middle, because I got all the stats, like you said. The 8-time All-Star Nolan Arenado, 10-time Gold Glover, 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner, and you got to throw in 6-time Platinum Glove winner. And I've never heard of this before. Write in the comments if you guys have heard this too. 5-time Fielding Bible winner. As far as, you know, what Tallman touched on, he is getting up there, 35 years old. Shout out to the 35-year-olds. But last year, only in 107 games, 237 batting average, 12 home runs, 52 RBIs. Was a dip down from 2024, where he hit 272, 16 home runs, and 71 RBIs in 152 games. But for what the Diamondbacks were able to accomplish in regard to getting $31 million of his remaining $42 million paid off. That's an absolute steal, guys. And it is showing that the Diamondbacks are still trying to stay in the hunt this year as they wait for their heavy hitter pitchers to come back. A lot of them from Tommy John surgery, man. Niko, what'd you think about Nolan? And you got to tell us, what do you think this means for Jordan Lawler's future, man?
To be honest with you, the upside is that we're not paying his full contract. That's the best part of this whole deal. I love Nolan Arenado's glove. We're not getting the bat that existed 5 years ago. We're not getting the bat that existed even 3 years ago. And that's kind of what worries me, is that we took, Eugenio Suarez, arguably one of the best offensive Diamondbacks last year, and we're gonna replace him with somebody who hit 237 and 12 home runs last year. I get the move, and I part of me wonders if it wasn't a panic on the Diamondbacks end, going, oh shit, we missed out on Bregman. We completely missed on Bregman. We need to make something happen. Because the other thing is, guys, you got to remember, they now have to put cheeks and seats inside that stadium. And you got to bring names with it. Arenado is going to do that. If you're a baseball fan and have been a baseball fan for the past 10 years, the name Nolan Arenado brings resonance to you. Jordan Lawler, gentlemen, somebody's on the outs. Somebody is on the outs. I don't know if it's Jordan Lawler. I don't know if they still have another plan to trade another outfielder. Somebody is on the move. Blaze Alexander will be in the starting lineup next year in one way, shape, or form. I believe it will be in the outfield, but I believe that Blaze will not be the player that is moved. I believe it's going to be between oh my God, I just completely spaced. I believe it's going to be between Jordan Lawler and God, somebody help me out here. Our center fielder, why can't I think it was
Thomas?
Alec Thomas, thank you. It's going to be one of those two guys. One of those two guys are going to go. And I know that everybody's saying, like, with the McCarthy trade to the Rockies, that would mean that he stays. I don't think that's necessarily the case, gentlemen. I think Lawler might be the one on the way out, though. He's got the biggest upside in a trade package. If we're looking at it, if you're looking at it from the other side of it, he has the biggest potential. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what else comes out of this whole thing, what else the offseason provides. Like Mike said, we're waiting for our stud pitchers. But and I believe Tomlin brought this up, we need help at first base. I can't watch another season with Pavin Smith at first base. I'm sorry, Jonathan.
No, you're absolutely right. And perfect transition to what I want to talk about. But I mean, the ad for Nolan Arenado is absolutely to shore up the defense. And I think it kind of translates for the pitching as well, to where maybe the pitchers will feel a little bit better if they have a stronger defensive presence behind them. With what you're saying, Niko, I think it makes a lot of sense if you're talking about it either being Jordan Lawler or Alec Thomas on the way out, for it to be Jordan Lawler, honestly, because so far we haven't seen him be able to hit a baseball at the major league level. So then all you want is his defense. But if you have Nolan Arenado playing that defensive position, your infield is looking like Nolan Arenado, Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte, and then whoever's on first base. And you're not going to put Lawler at first base. But why I say that's a good transition is because there's a lot of speculation coming out just today that the first base issue could be solved. Oh, Mike beat me to it. Here, let me pull this up real quick, Mike. A reunion with former Diamondbacks first baseman Paul Goldschmidt, to where he was always, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, known for being a pretty solid defensive first baseman in his own right, has infield familiarity with Nolan Arenado during their time in St. Louis. So they say the door is open here. Tallman, I want your quick thought on if this makes sense to bring in another old man to stick him on the corner to play defense.
Oh, man. But Chris, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's a 4-time Gold Glove winner. So he can play. He can hold down the corner. But I just love it. It's like, so every single time there's been like a sports figure or a player that's played any sport in the Valley, they go somewhere else to a different market, and then they become a free agent or there's trade rumors. Every single Arizona fan's like, bring them back. bring him back. I mean, I feel, and it's the same thing with Goldschmidt. I mean, it's a familiar name. It would be an absolute, absolute PR hit if they did bring him back. But Goldschmidt, I mean, the dude's 38 years old, and he had one of the worst seasons, I want to say 2 years ago with the Cardinals, where he was literally one of the worst players in baseball from an offensive perspective. But he went to the Yankees last year. He did have a resurgence. I mean, pretty much more than half the season with the Yankees, he was batting leadoff because the dude was being productive at the plate. I wouldn't be opposed to it. He wouldn't be someone that would play every single day. I mean,
No.
it'd be Goldsmith and it would be Pavin Smith, right? They would just platoon that position. But you could also play him, and same thing applies to Arenado. I mean, these older guys, you could trot them out there at DH. I mean, so they don't have to play in the field all the time. So it's just, but I'd be okay with it. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and say that we're crazy for wanting to bring him back. He's not going to cost a lot of money. Where's the harm in it? The fans are going to love it. And he did prove that he can still be somewhat productive in the major league level last season with the Yankees.
Well, and exactly like Niko was saying, and you were saying, you said it'd be a PR hit. It would put asses in the seats. You bring the big name Nolan Arenado already. You bring back a beloved Valley icon in Paul Goldschmidt to play one last season. And boy, I'm going to some games for sure. The farewell tour of the America's first baseman would be pretty cool. However, if the goal is to be a contender this year and win a championship and not just have fun and, maybe make it to the playoffs with the power of friendship, I don't know if that makes the most sense. I do love it though. I love it if there's a contingency other than Pavin Smith. I don't know what that is though. But Niko, I feel like going back to what you said about moving those guys, just to round out the conversation and kick it back to you real quick. I feel like there are other prospects that are starting to develop that are kind of going to start to nip at the heels of guys like Jordan Lawler and Blaze Alexander and Alec Thomas, to where I think it would make sense if our farm system is seeing that to sell our guys that have been seen more. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's definitely the plus of the whole thing, is that, like, we have some stock in our farm system. I don't think it's a ton of stock. I don't think it's like what we're used to as Diamondbacks fans. Like perennially growing up, we had some of the best farm systems in America, and now we've fallen off a little bit. But like, yeah, there's enough. I think there's enough there that if you wanted to trade, some of the younger guys, Lawler, even if you wanted to trade Blaze Alexander, which at this point, I think if you're going to trade Blaze Alexander the way that the last season finished, it needs to be like a higher return than maybe it would have been if we traded him in the middle of the year last year. But look, man, at this point, after last year and the year before, do whatever we got to do. I don't give a shit anymore. Trade Andrew Jones. Trade everybody as long as we are going to be winning baseball. Trade the whole fucking farm system.
Yeah, I'm all for that, and Mike and Tallman here know that I've been saying for a long time, trade Drew Jones. I mean, I know he's a young guy even still, at 22, but he's not even in the top 10 for prospects, and I feel like we've had him for like 4 years or so now. It's kind of crazy. But there are guys like it's when I'm looking at the top prospects, Jordan Lawler isn't even considered a prospect anymore. Like, he just is going to be an MLB player. So he has to be up or he has to be out. I don't think there's, a whole lot of options. I mean, I guess he could play AAA, but like, is that really going to be worth it? I mean, we'll move off of that, but before we completely move off of the Diamondbacks, guys, we did kind of allude to some of the other moves made there. Of course, Jake McCarthy going to Colorado for Josh Gross, right-handed pitcher. And then another kind of under-the-radar move that I saw was a minor league contract signing for Jonathan Loaisiga, former New York Yankees pitcher, and he can throw some heat. And I think, I don't know if you guys know about Jonathan Loaisiga, but he has had Tommy John. There are concerns there, a bit of a down year, kind of a high, I mean, think 3.5, 3.6 ERA, but bringing him on a minor league deal, I think that's just a good value and a high upside on a team that desperately needs bullpen help. Did you guys have any Mike thoughts on like those signings, either the McCarthy move or anything else you've seen?
Well, Loiska, I don't think it's bad. Obviously, I'm in the same camp with you. I just think the big move of Jake McCarthy, I think it shouldn't have taken anybody off guard, because I would say probably for the past 2-3 seasons since we've had Alec Thomas and Jake in the system, it's been hard juggling them. And now with Lourdes, did Lourdes get traded, or is he gone? Did we not re-sign him, or is he still in the building?
No, he's still in the building.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
he's not coming back till mid-season.
But, you know, even with what Niko was talking about in regard to, you know, what do you do with Jordan Lawler? But Blaze Alexander really showed himself. You have to continue to give him opportunities. And it was always going to come down to either McCarthy or Thomas. And does the track record lean more towards Thomas? I mean, you would probably say yes. He has the most impact, you know, especially during our postseason run in 2023. I mean, he was a lot better from the plate last year as well. And he showed a lot more promise in the outfield, I think I would say, on a consistent basis, with his range being able to track down in center field. So if the Diamondbacks are going to keep Lawler around, they're going to have to continue to find different spots to put him. And I could see that possibly being some time in the outfield as well. So if you're keeping Jake McCarthy around, you're just not getting what you truly, completely could get out of Jordan Lawler. So I bid him adieu, man. I really like Jake. I think hopefully he thrives in Colorado, even though we know a lot of people haven't. And I don't know if a lot of people will consistently over the next couple of years, but they do have new management there. And it's always good to have good competition in the NL West from the teams that are below us, because, you know, how do we get better? Playing the best. So that's really what I got for Jake, man. I'm going to miss him. He was one of those guys that I really enjoyed watching play ball for this ball club.
Yeah, I really love me some Jake McCarthy, and I love that he had the Kurt Angle theme song and the walkout. And when you're at the games, everyone's looking around like, why are you saying he sucks? And I mean, last year he did suck, so people didn't really question it as much. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the move to Colorado, especially coming off the season they just had. Hopefully he'll get some playing time. Could have a good career, like some guys tend to do when they leave the Diamondbacks. But it is an exciting time. I think we're within a month of pitchers and catchers reporting, maybe about a month and a half or so, but right around the corner, guys. And I do love me some baseball. We're going to definitely be going out to a bunch of games this season, and going to be plenty to talk about with the Arizona Diamondbacks coming up the pipe. But fellas, moving on, for the sake of time, we have some more news in the college football realm. It's been a crazy, I think, if you want to call it an off season for college football, and it's not even really officially the off season yet, because we haven't even seen the national championship game be played yet. That's still coming up this coming Monday, I believe, on the 19th. But guys, former Arizona State quarterback, Sam Leavitt has finally found a landing place with LSU and head coach Lane Kiffin. He is expected to sign with LSU. Leavitt pick came with trips to Kentucky, Tennessee, and Miami, sources were reporting. So guys, finally went to LSU. There's kind of like a lot of speculation about what would ultimately end up happening after, you know, the kind of the wild cycle it's been. And you have all sorts of quarterbacks transferring all over the country. You have quarterbacks not declaring for the NFL draft that were expected to declare for the draft. But, you know, big program. And it's funny to me, I think he could fulfill a prophecy, if you would call it that, or follow the similar footsteps of another former Arizona State quarterback in Jaden Daniels. If he goes to LSU and somehow manages to play out of his mind, win a Heisman Trophy, get drafted, I would laugh. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but throw it up in the air, whoever wants to catch it. What do you guys think of Sam Leavitt transferring to LSU?
Let me drop in on this one real quick. And I blame us for this happening, because like you said, we put it out into the ether. We put it out into existence that he would end up at LSU. It's just, This is a tough look, man. I wanted Sam to be that guy like Cam Scatteraboo that was truly going to cement himself as an ASU legend. I thought he was well on his way. Obviously, last year was a tough season, not only because of his injuries, which you can say was the majority of it, but I think he was pigeonholed with the talent outside of him, either than Jordan Tyson and Raleek Brown. So this is kind of a contributing factor from the offensive side where he looked at going to get a fresh start with a brand new coach in Lane Kiffin. And now they have the number one, like absolute transfer portal guys coming to LSU, and they're going to be well set to be successful next year after having a down year at LSU. But the biggest thing for me in regard to this whole situation, guys, is we're not getting the whole truth in what happened. You know, him not going to the end of the year banquet, even if the stars or the writing was on the wall, you would think that somebody of his stature who is a leader for the program, even if you haven't made your decision, would show up there and at least kind of like say your goodbyes, but not really say them, right? So I think there was some kind of issue that truly might have happened within, you know, himself and the organization over at ASU, and we'll never know that, obviously. But this is tough. I just cannot believe somebody that was he was the number one Heisman candidate to start this season before, and then injuries plagued it. And now he's going to the same place where Jane Daniels really cemented himself into a top prospect. And we were hopeful that, you know, we were going to get at least two, with Jordan Tyson being a consensus top 10 overall pick coming up in the 2026 NFL draft. And then we were hopeful that Sam was going to be that guy. But I still don't know how to really feel about this, because, you know, this is kind of the end of that Peach Bowl era now. And other guys at ASU are going to have to step up and be those shining lights for this program.
Oh, Miguel, my oldest and longest friend. We've always come with such a logical and sensible angle at things. Hoes gon' follow hoes. That's what I gotta say about this. My goodness. You want to talk about the lights come on at the club and you grab the next closest thing to you. That is what Lane Kiffin has done. He outwardly said, I want DeMond Williams, while having Sam Leavitt courtside at an LSU basketball game, actively recruiting another quarterback on Sam Leavitt's recruiting trip. Use a hoe, you followed a hoe, the whole thing is going to be a hoe down in LSU, and it's going to go up in flames. Why? Because you went from Arizona State that has, look, we have expectations now, but the expectations are like, hey, if we can win 10 games, that'd be sweet. You know, like if we can get to at this point, if we can get to the conference championship game, like cool, you're going to LSU. You're walking into somewhere where if you don't go undefeated, beat Auburn and beat Alabama and come out the SEC champion, they have a very short leash for you. And that's players, that's coaches, that's everything. So I get it. You followed the money, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, Sam Leavitt thought he was the hot girl on the block until someone came around that was a little bit hotter, a little bit more attractive. And all of a sudden Lane Kiffin is that gif where he's looking back at the girl walking by and the other, and he's holding Sam Leavitt's hand. And gentlemen, I think this is going to be a very interesting mix. LSU is a good football team. Don't get that twisted. Sam Leavitt is a good quarterback. Don't get that twisted. Now, what happens when Sam Leavitt gets down to Baton Rouge and they treat him like, you know, the Pope in his own mobile? That's a different story. The love you get as a LSU Tiger quarterback versus the love you get for being an ASU quarterback, those are two different things. So it'll be interesting to watch play out, but I hope it crashes and burns. And Sam Leavitt, you a hoe.
Yeah, man, I wish him nothing but the worst for sure. I don't want to see that team have any success. Lane Kiffin is pretty much universally hated. But I don't know. I mean, I think Sam Leavitt looks at the landscape of the college football and the I don't know what it's kind of like how Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in however long. There hasn't been a national championship west of the Mississippi in like 20 years or something like that. So he goes to a program with a lot of notoriety. Niko, you're right. A lot of national attention is on LSU, much more than there is on ASU. And I mean, I don't want to just, talk shit now that he's gone, but Sam Leavitt kind of does come across to me a little bit like a guy that likes attention, likes to be in the spotlight, maybe like his head coach now that he has. And so LSU is a good place for that. Kenny Dillingham didn't seem to be too concerned about losing Sam Leavitt. Obviously, he's got to do that. He's got to keep a brave face and pretend like nothing's wrong. But it just opens up the door for there to be a quarterback competition, a young talent. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about college. There's young talents nobody's ever heard of breaking out all the time. And ASU is a place where talented players want to be. We've had multiple 4-star recruits switch over, and now they're coming to ASU. So the Kenny Dillingham effect is real. And now that it's cemented that he's going to be there for the foreseeable future, I mean, I don't think anything is guaranteed, but it sure seems that way based off everything that just went down. So sucks losing Sam. Really, really hope he doesn't win a Heisman Trophy, because that would just be nuts. But it does seem, I mean, to maybe transition it to the NFL here, it does kind of seem like this quarterback class coming up in the 2026 draft is going to be pretty much cheeks. And then next year in the 2027 draft is going to be pretty insane for quarterbacks. If these guys end up developing and breaking out the way that it seems like they will, all the guys that have decided to stay an extra year and either get healthy or get some more tape or develop more. You got Arch Manning, potentially the Dylan Raiola kid. I think he's got 2 years of eligibility left. Dante Moore announced he's going back. Julian Sayin, I think, is staying in college. So whole lot of talented quarterbacks out there. And that was just to name a few. Before we do move on, Tallman, though, and start talking NFL and the head coaching hire situation, did you have any thoughts on the Sam Leavitt transfer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to seem salty, but I'm with you, Chris. I mean, I wish the worst for him. And it's kind of just like good riddance. You know what I mean? It's like you go, Lane Kiffin's probably the most hated person in college football right now. Sam Leavitt's probably the most hated athlete in Arizona right now. But at the end of the day, though, you mentioned Kenny Dillingham. I mean, that's as long as Kenny's not coaching in Michigan and we got him here for the next couple of years, that's fine, because we anticipated not having Sam Leavitt next season anyway, because we thought we were going to kick some ass. He was going to declare for the draft and get, drafted in the NFL. So it's just makes you a little salty, because he's going, when he talked all the game where, oh, I share my NIL money with my teammates. I buy them shit. I help people out. I'm all ASU. I want to be here. I want to win at ASU. Why would I want to go anywhere else? And then he just completely comes out and sells out, which I don't blame him. Honestly, I don't blame him. Hand up, I might do the same shit. But it's just like, come on. I mean, I'm with Mike. There's part of the story, something that's not being told. And I'm sure that'll come out at some point. But at the end of the day, we got Kenny. Holy shit. And whatever. I mean, like I said, we didn't expect to have him anyway. So, best of luck to Sam.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's good that he did sign and he's transferred and he's gone, because now we can close the door on it and start focusing on what's going on here at home and next season. And it's going to be a lot of time between now and then. So I'm sure we'll forget, that's not the last we're going to see of Sam Leavitt or hear about Sam Leavitt, unfortunately. Trust and believe he'll be probably thrust into our face at some capacity playing for LSU and their talented football team next season. But gentlemen, moving on to the NFL, of course, Jonathan Gannon was fired as the Arizona Cardinals head coach a couple weeks ago. We talked about that. He has found himself getting a couple of, sorry, I'm kind of itchy tonight, guys. I don't know. He's found himself a couple of interviews, actually, a head coaching one at that, which surprised me. He interviewed with the Tennessee Titans, I believe, for their head coaching position, and a couple defensive coordinator openings as well, I believe, with the Dallas Cowboys. And I forget the other team. Not really important. I mentioned that briefly because I just want to gloss over it and we don't really have to talk about it. But I do find it funny that the Tennessee Titans game was the unraveling point for the Cardinals in 2025. So they saw that. They saw his performance. They saw what the Cardinals did on that day, and they said, yeah, That's our guy. That would be better than what we have now. Just absolutely ludicrous. I don't know if that's like a Rooney rule where they just have to interview a certain number of people, and Jonathan Gannon's number was in his phone book. But I can't imagine him getting another head coaching opportunity very soon. And I kind of hope he does, because I hope it's against the team that the Cardinals play. But got to be careful what you wish for, sometimes you do. And some more head coaching news that came out, I think it was late last week. John Harbaugh is out with the Ravens. He was let go after 19 seasons, or 18 or 19 seasons, something like that. Kind of crazy. I mean, I think that's pretty much, he's been the head coach of the Ravens for most of our lives, and especially our conscious existence. I mean, as long as I can remember, John Harbaugh has been the Ravens coach, but he wants to get back into it right away, and he is going to coach in 2026. He has already conducted several interviews. We touched on that last week, but the most pressing news that we have not yet had a chance to talk about is Mike Tomlin stepping down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach after 19 seasons. He wasn't fired. He was let go. You can't fire me if I quit, but him and the organization put out statements just expressing their gratitude. Obviously a rare feat in the NFL to have such longevity. He's only the third head coach the Steelers have had since 1970 or 1960, something like that. Just absolutely insane. It was him for 19, Cowher for 16, and Chuck Noll for like 25 or 26 years. Just something we don't see. I mean, during the time that Mike Tomlin was the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think I heard that the Cardinals have had 7 or 8 head coaches in that same amount of time. Or no, 7 or 8 coaches. It's just since wait, was it 4 head coaches since 2020? I don't know. Either way, it's been a lot of head coaches. But obviously, if you guys listen to the podcast enough, you know that I do have some Pittsburgh ties through my family. They raised me to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I'm very familiar with Mike Tomlin, and it's an interesting feeling for me because he was a head coach during the time when I was a really big fan. Obviously, my fandom for them has waned severely over the years, especially doing this podcast and caring a lot more about the Cardinals now. But I'll step off my soapbox here shortly, just to say that it is going to be weird seeing there be a different head coach for the Steelers. But it seems like the sentiment in Pittsburgh is that they were over it. People have been calling for him to be fired for a few seasons now. And although he had the record of never having a losing season and so many consecutive playoff appearances, but he did lose 7 straight playoff games, which I think they were like, okay, well, we're making the playoffs, but we're not getting anywhere. So at a certain point, you need a change. But all that to say, that's something that we'd love to have here. And man, the Cardinals are just conducting so many interviews, and so many names are swirling. Guys, what have you thought of like this weird offseason where there's like 8 or 9 head coach openings and tons of interviews happening? It's honestly hard for me to keep it all straight.
Oh man. So I'm so glad, Chris, you stopped talking about the Steelers, because I was about to
I mean, I can keep going.
Look at him just go and go. But no, I think there's 9 positions open, which is crazy. I mean, I can't remember the last time there was this many positions open for such a coveted position. The Steelers news, it doesn't really help us at all, because it adds another open position that is a lot more exciting than being the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And then people talking about Tomlin being a candidate. I mean, he's already come out and said he's taking a year off. He's taking the Sean Payton route. And even if we wanted him, you'd have to give compensation to the Steelers, because they have his contract for the next 2 years, because he resigned and he wasn't fired. So, man, it's but my biggest takeaway with the candidate list is, I mean, you go up and down that list. I mean, there's a couple guys with head coaching experience, but a lot of guys without it. There's a lot of defensive minded coaches on there, and I think only 4 offensive minded guys. And I mean, just my opinion here, it's like we have to get away from this first time head coach shit. I mean, I think the last 4 or 5 coaches have been first time head coaches. We need some experience. I mean, we had the youngest coaching staff in the NFL within the Jonathan Gannon regime, and it crashed and burned. It was awful. I mean, we're back at square one, tearing it down, rebuilding it, and we got to find one of those guys. I mean, I'm really drinking the Robert Saleh Kool-Aid, Who cares what happened with him at the Jets? The Jets are a dumpster fire. The Cardinals are a step above a dumpster fire, but I have faith in the guy. I mean, you're also stealing a good coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, great defensive mind. You're stealing a coach from the 49ers, which is in division. You know, that's a plus there. He's got experience in the division, and he's got experience as a head coach. And we need that tough, that grit, that rah dude to come in who's not sitting on the sideline with his arms crossed, where he's coaching his team, right? Every time if you guys watch that last the playoff game with the 49ers, I mean, he's smacking asses as his defense comes off the field. I mean, that's what we need with this team. I mean, we need a guy like that. We need someone who's been there, done that, who has failed, who's coming in second time around, knows what he did wrong, knows what he's going to do differently this time, so that we can find some success and turn this around. I did mention the differential of the more defensive-minded coaches versus offensive. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in one of those offensive guys too, because man, we don't have a quarterback right now. Whoever we bring in, whether we keep Jacoby, we draft somebody, we bring in another veteran free agent quarterback. I mean, this is a project. The whole offense is going to be a project. You know, we're going to need somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing there. It can't be another pet seeing dude coming in, quarterback coach, doesn't have the experience. We need people in this coaching room that know what they're doing. It's about time we do it. I get it that Bidwell, you're paying two coaches. If our dreams come true and we split from Kyler Murray, you're also paying a quarterback not to play for you. So, I mean, let's fork up the money. Let's get someone in here who's going to cost a little extra because he's got the experience. Like, that's what we need right now. We need to stop fucking around.
And the worst thing about this is some of these names on these lists just like give me the ick, guys. Like, Vance Joseph was already in this building, and how did it end the last time with, you know, secondary coaches getting arrested in Mexico? Like, no thanks. You know, what are we doing with Jeff Hafley, who just gave up 25 points to the Chicago Bears in the fourth quarter? You know, like Thomas Brown, the pass game coordinator for the Patriots, after one season of success, I'm a little worried. It doesn't seem like we're buttoned up and we were ready for this. But that kind of makes sense, because from everything that everybody was telling us was that Jonathan Gannon was going to return. And then I think Michael Bidwell just saw the blood all over the screen from not only the national media, but from the fan base who were leaving in droves, that forced his hand to fire JG. So they just weren't prepared to try and find another head coach. There are some good candidates in here. Obviously, I'm with Tallman in regards to stealing anybody from the NFC West is going to be a positive. I mean, we're looking at pretty much any of these teams going to the Super Bowl this year. The three of the top four remaining teams left in this playoffs are from the NFC West. So if you can get an upper hand, yes, I love that. Robert Saleh, give him another opportunity. I think we had already talked about how he kind of gets a mulligan because the New York Jets are just such a poverty franchise. Whoever goes there is just never truly going to see success, unfortunately. But then there's some better guys. I like the offensive game plan of maybe Mike LaFleur. I would put Clint Kubiak over him right now, though, because of the multitude of successes that he's seen in different stops, even going back to his work with Brock Purdy. But I just, the last time when we did the coaching search, Michael Bidwell came out and said, you know, we're going to cast the net far and wide. We didn't need to cast the net far and wide again this time. It needed to be somebody who has experience as a head coach, as a leader of men, and you go from there. But I just wonder if this has turned into this kind of interview system, and this whole hullabaloo is really exploding into the amount of people that they're talking to, because like Chris said, this isn't as attractive as a spot as we wanted it to be. So Niko, who are you leaning towards out of this list, man?
I mean, honestly, I think that we're stupid if we don't throw the bag at Harbaugh. We are a poverty franchise. Like, let's not excuse this, gentlemen. We are as bad as the Jets. We're as bad as the Browns. We're a shit show of an organization. We have, what, 2 quarterbacks with winning records? in the franchise history, and they are Drew Stanton and Carson Palmer. If my stats are correct, look, anything to pull us out of the fucking mud. But I understand that if I'm John Harbaugh, I'm looking at this like, I don't necessarily know if that's the situation I want to entrench myself in the back half of my career after being the third ever coach for a franchise for 20 years. Honestly, I like the thought of pulling someone from the NFC West. I am a bit sheepish on Robert Saleh. I know that the Jets are a fucking dumpster fire, but I don't think that Bidwell is going to treat him any better than Woody Johnson did. So, like, I don't necessarily know if that's going to be an improvement or not. I think what I like is Kubiak from Seattle. Anything, and that's maybe just my personal vengeance against the Seahawks after living in the Pacific Northwest for 7 years and having to hear that shit. If we can cut them at the knees, if we can cut them at the shins, hell, if we can take a hand off, anything we can do to stop that obnoxious bullshit that comes out of the Pacific Northwest of we're the loudest and we're the best and it's the Legion of Boom Part 2. I absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't need any more of that shit. I can handle the Niners fans. That's because I grew up with one my entire life. My mother is a diehard Niners fan and has converted my father, who was a lifelong Cardinals fan, into a Niners fan.
Wow. Well, it's funny what success can do to a man.
Yeah. I also don't blame him, because if I watched this dumpster fire for the past 30 years and went and purchased tickets inside of Sun Devil Stadium, and then all of a sudden you got Kyler Murray throwing the ball into the ground and Jonathan Gannon, I don't think I'd probably support the team either after a long time. So, man, this whole coaching search, I think Mike hit it on the head. We did not need to cast a far and wide net. We don't need 32 names on this fucking list. There are 3 guys there. Go from there. Easy as that.
Well, and some of the bigger names haven't even been on the list or even considered. I mean, what are we doing even having a phone conversation with Arthur Smith? Like, did Michael Bidwell see the game on Monday? The Steelers' offense is miserable. Arthur Smith was a head coach in Atlanta, I believe, and failed there. So come on, man. Let's stop taking them off the garbage heap. There's no Kevin Stefanski. There's no Mike McDaniel interview. Harbaugh hasn't even set up an official interview outside of a phone conversation, because clearly he wasn't that impressed by the initial conversation, which is a bad sign, if you ask me. This is just classic Cardinals, man. And what I think makes this it's not the most undesirable or the most. Yeah, it's not the most undesirable destination, don't get me wrong, but what makes it undesirable to a great degree is Kyler Murray and the uncertainty at the quarterback position, because there is talent here. There's no doubt about it. We have Trey McBride. We have Michael Wilson's emergence. There's still a lot of hope for Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously. You've got Josh Sweat. On the defensive side, you have young guys in Will Johnson. Man, like, there is talent on this roster, and Monty Austinfort hasn't done a terrible job, despite him. There are criticisms to have of Monty Austinfort for sure, and some misses he's had in the draft. But that aside, the roster is not necessarily the problem. They're really injured last year. Yes, I get that. But the coaching was believed to be the biggest crux of it all, because there's no reason we shouldn't have won more games than we did, especially with as close as they were early on before we were as banged up as we were. So I don't know, man. I'm with you guys. You guys have really said it best. We need someone with head coaching experience. I think that's what every single Cardinals fan is saying right now. Don't hire a coordinator. Why are you even telling us you're calling and having interviews with these coordinators? I mean, Clint Kubiak is somewhat interesting because he comes from coaching family, and he does have a good experience, been around the game for a long time, and has had success in his short career. However, I am still weary of the first time head coaching. I just really think we could use a guy with experience right now. So, Niko, to your point, that should be their list. Guys with head coaching experience. Boom. You cut it in half, if not more, right off the bat. And I know Arthur Smith would still be on that list, but throw him out too. Should not be on that list, let me tell you. I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. But one thing's for sure, Tallman, they cannot do what they did last time and tamper with anybody and end up losing us a draft pick, because man, oh man, That would be something else. Guys, I mean, as far as the NFL goes, this head coaching search, was there anything else you guys could think of that we need to roll out there?
If anybody wants Mike Tomlin, they're going to have to trade for him. That's going to be the thing with Tomlin, because he was not fired. The Steelers technically own the rights, his contract rights or whatever. So if any Cardinals fan is out there saying Tomlin, we'll have to trade. And I don't think Pittsburgh's going to part easily. It'll probably be a mid-round draft pick, probably 5th, 4th round draft pick, I'd assume.
Yeah, I'd expect that's probably the case. I think I could see him taking a year off though, especially after everything he's been through and stepping down. If he wanted to keep coaching, it sounds like I don't know how the conversation went in Pittsburgh, but I'd imagine he would have been a welcome back for another season if he wanted it.
Well, yeah, he's already confirmed that he's gonna take a year off, and man, 19 seasons? That's a long time to invest all of everything you have to give into one type of franchise. I feel like it would be hard for him to transition back into coaching even next year, guys. I can see him as somebody who ends up going to TV and doing commentating or something like that. I feel like. How old is Tomlin? Do you guys know? Somebody pull up that stat for me.
53, I believe.
Oh, I thought he was like 59. Yeah, he is young though. He's in his 50s. Surprisingly, yeah, he's really young still.
Because he was mid-30s when he was hired by the Steelers. That's crazy, man. But, it just isn't going to be an option for the Cardinals. What you can't do is have a stopgap year coach for 1 year and then wait to try and trade for Tomlin. You're going to anger the fan base even more. It's as much as I'm aligned with Niko, it's like you really need to throw the bag all at John Harbaugh. It's just, man, I don't know if the Cardinals are truly in the running, because he's that kind of coach that is going to command higher leadership roles. Not only is he going to be your head coach, he's going to bring in all of the people that he wants to, and he's probably going to command like general manager decisions as well. Is that something that Monty Ossenfort is willing to take like a sidestep to and be the pseudo GM? I mean, he should, after the way that he started his tenure here, but is Michael Bidwell going to be that guy to step even further away as well? The track record says no. So it's going to come down to, man, I hate it, Chris. You said it on our last podcast. It's going to come down to a first-time head coach once again that's going to show promise. We're going to hope that he's a diamond in the rough, and hopefully we get it right again this time. But there's going to be opportunities to sign one of these high-profile guys, but the Cardinals really just have to do something that we've never seen before. And is it in the stars for us to finally get there? I don't know. Tallman, what do you think? Do you think that is John Harbaugh an actual option for the Arizona Cardinals as a head coaching candidate?
No. He's got the pick of the litter, dude. He's not coming here. I mean, I'm with you guys. Throw everything at him. Throw 20, 25 million at him a year. I don't think we would do that. And also, I don't think he'd pick us. I mean, it's just, and it's funny that the Steelers job came open because everyone's like, oh, Tomlin and Harbaugh should just switch places. That'd be great. That'd be a hell of a storyline. But I mean, you think about some of these other positions that are open. Like we don't have a quarterback. Yeah, we have the 3rd overall pick, but Dante Moore going back to college really fucks us with that, because the Jets were supposed to, the Jets were supposed to pick him, right? In every mock draft you saw, you're supposed to go 2 overall. If the Jets didn't pick him, we would have had any quarterback team or any quarterback hungry team that wanted to trade up for him. That pick was so much more valuable before that news came out. So what are the selling points, guys? I mean, having the 3rd overall pick, that took a big hit. I mean, what else do we have to offer besides the weather? And he doesn't have to deal with the snow. I mean, I don't know. Oh, I mean, we have the upcoming new facilities being open in 2028. I mean, that's not right now. What? I don't know. I just don't envision him. I mean, he's, like I said, he's the top candidate out there. would I love to be eating my words in the next 2 weeks or whatever, whenever he, picks a job? And if it was the Cardinals, yeah, that'd be awesome. But I just say, don't get your hopes up. I just don't see it happening.
I mean, Tallman, you always said dreaming's free, but I was showing there like the odds right now, obviously based off just speculation from the fans, but nowhere on that list is John Harbaugh, because doesn't even have the Cardinals on his short list. Nobody's talking about that really, but dreaming is free, and it would be nice. I think obviously a selling point would be you're close to your brother, you're on the West Coast, you have other family on the West Coast. I think he has a nephew in Washington, but is that enough for him? Is he like, I'm not retired, I'm still coaching, I don't need to be close to my family? I don't think that's his priority right now. I think if he wants to keep coaching, he wants to keep winning. And I think if he'd have to decide if the Arizona Cardinals give him that best chance. But I was seeing that it seems like a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Vance Joseph, but I think I find that weird because they can't even talk to Vance Joseph yet, because the Broncos are still in the playoffs. So are they even able to have like a phone conversation? Are they able to have any conversations with Vance Joseph right now?
I think technically kind of within the rules, there are like spaces in between playoff weeks that they are allowed to. Like, I'm pretty sure the Cardinals conducted like a Zoom interview with Robert Saleh. So I think they already talked with Vance, and now they're probably going to schedule an in-person. If Michael Bidwell wants to get back in the good graces of the fan base and have us buy in quickly, the answer is not Vance Joseph. I think his record as a head coach was 10-21. Like, he was unsuccessful too. Now, if you look at most of these people on this list that were ex-head coaches, either than the heavy hitters we know, like as of John Harbaugh, all of them were unsuccessful. I mean, Matt Nagy, people wanted to burn him at the stake by the time his tenure ended in Chicago. So you get what you get, right? You try and think that you can have the pick of the litter, but man, with Mike Tomlin hanging him up basically, and John Harbaugh getting fired, opening up those really juicy positions, it really put the Arizona Cardinals behind the 8 ball. And now you could say even like the Steelers, what is their quarterback situation next year? Because I don't think they want to run it back with Aaron Rodgers once again. He's only getting older as well, and we saw how he performed in that wild card game against the Texans. But you just think of the lore that comes with Pittsburgh, right? Even the same kind of thing with Baltimore, where if those teams were worse than the Arizona Cardinals were, I think head coaches would always go to those situations over Arizona, which is tough because we have not built any positive will for us as a franchise in the NFL. So that's why it always seems like we're trying to have to find those diamonds in the rough. And it's really hard, man. There's only, Bruce Arians only comes around, it seems like, once every 30 years, unfortunately.
And yeah, I think you're right on point there, Mike. It's going to have to, it almost feels like, as much as we're saying they need to hire a coach with experience, you're right on, and make such a great point in that they're available for a reason. They're ex-head coaches for a reason, because they weren't very successful in their time as head coach. So you try and give these guys a chance for the first time, because their head coaching record is 0-0. Unlimited, untapped potential. But right now, in the last few attempts at it, Michael Bidwell is 0-2 with Cliff Kingsbury and Jonathan Gannon. And it's cool, Jonathan Gannon was the Super Bowl, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, but that didn't get you very far. So now what are you going to go do? You're going to go out and find another coordinator that's had short-term success somewhere and hope that he works out. I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But going back to the attractiveness of the position, I mean, these coaches talk to each other and they're not blind. And they see these NFLPA report cards and they know Michael Bidwell. Michael Bidwill. And I mean, man, it's just, Niko, you brought it up in our little private chat here, but we don't have a president of football operations like a lot of organizations, a lot of teams do, and someone to kind of help oversee and manage the team for these billionaire owners so they can be hands off and make all their money from the team and have it basically be this self-sufficient thing that runs itself. And the president of football operations knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about, knows when to get out of the way and when not to, and might not necessarily have the immediate ability to fire someone on the spot. I'm ranting here, but Niko, I want to kick it over to you, man. Like, that's got to be a factor, I would assume, right? The Bidwill situation, as well as the NFLPA report cards, the roster. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, the volatility of our franchise is 1,000% a reason why a guy like Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh won't set foot inside of our building ever. Not even for a fucking interview, gentlemen. Those guys respect themselves too much to step foot inside of our building because it's ran by somebody who thinks he's Walt Disney, but really putting on a fucking a parking lot circus, man. It's crazy talk. Like, the dude has literally got in front of him a game plan of how it has worked for decades in the NFL. You get this person to do this job. You get this person to do that job. You get X, Y, and Z, and this is how you get a successful football organization. At the very top of it, the very tip top, guys, Michael Bidwill said, nah, I don't need that. I got my private jet. I'll go pick up my players that I sign. I'll go do all this cool stuff and make everybody want to be a Cardinal. Nobody wants to play here. We are consistently in the bottom of the rankings as far as player care, family care. Like, the organization is, if I am any coach worth a damn, worth a moral, worth anything, I'm not, man. I'm not. If I'm an OC, I'm going, this might be my shot in, because if I can make the Cardinals at least halfway decent, then I may have a shot down the road in a more stable franchise. That's the crazy part of this whole thing, is that, like, people are looking at the Cardinals as a starting point for their career because we're not an adept enough organization to be able to handle a veteran coach that has expectations of the front office. Because I guarantee you, the second John Harbaugh started kicking in doors, and which he would, let's not get it twisted. John Harbaugh is not the kind of man to pussyfoot around when it comes to things that need to happen in order for a football team to be successful. When he starts kicking in doors in Arizona, Bidwill is going to get his little panties all in a knot, and it's going to be I can't believe that you're talking to me like this. Well, he has a fucking Super Bowl, dude. He's got a Super Bowl, and he's been a coach of a winning fucking organization for 2+ decades. Maybe you, who is up here with your thumb so far up your ass that you're scratching the back of your eyeball, you need to chill out. You need to chill out, and you just need to let the guys who have the jobs do their jobs. You don't need to put your fucking fingies in everything. Not everybody needs your goddamn germs. Keep your little Bidwell fingies over here. This dude is the biggest. He is my biggest crux in being a Cardinals fan. I swear to God, if we had any other owner in the NFL, I would be absolutely okay with being a Cardinals fan. Bidwell has made it fucking impossible to support this franchise. I'm not buying another jersey, and I love jerseys. I'm not buying another hat, and I fucking love hats. You don't get my money anymore, Arizona Cardinals. Y'all can fucking blow turkey dick. I don't give a shit anymore. I am so over it.
Are you going to become a 49ers fan now?
No.
I'm a little worried.
Oh,
I'm a little worried.
No, I have a Cardinals tattoo on my arm. There's no way that I can go back. I'm just not giving the fucking organization any money anymore. Can't do it.
Suspended. He has suspended all donations to the organization. Yeah, Niko, I mean, I think you speak for a lot of us in those thoughts you share. And at the end of the day, like, if people will say what they will on how much ownership really impacts it or this or that or the next thing. But at a certain point, when you're one of the oldest organizations in the entire sport and you've been around for so long and you've had so little success, and so little success doesn't even begin to, it's an understatement to say a little success, because we haven't even found that. When you put us side by side with even the rest of the league and teams that haven't even been around for more than 3 decades, like, it's sad, and it is the ownership, but there is really no hope on the horizon unless Bidwill gets caught in some crazy scandal, which I don't see happening, or he sells the team, which I also don't see happening. So we're stuck with it. And maybe he, hits his head and has a complete personality change and does starts being hands off, or maybe he gets a little older and he decides he's ready to be more hands off. But look at Jerry Jones, man. Jerry Jones is like 135 years old, looking like freaking Palpatine, freaking still also not having a GM or president of football operations. I don't think. I mean, there are worse things, guys. We could be Cowboys fans. Let's be honest. But man, I just don't know with this team, and I hope we get some answers on the head coaching front sooner rather than later. But I fear we're still going to be about 2 or 3 weeks out from having an answer, if not more, depending on how things go with the search. But guys, we only got about 14 minutes left until the tip-off of a very, very important college basketball game. That's going to be your Arizona State Sun Devils taking on your Arizona Wildcats down in the Dirty T, Tucson. This is on FS1. The Arizona Wildcats are 16-0 and favored by 21.5 points is the line. Tallman, you said before we started when we were in show prep that we are going to get our ass kicked. You weren't kidding, man. 21.5. Are you taking the under or the over?
No, I'm smashing the over, man. I mean, you guys be my guest. Watch. I'm not watching that game. I'm gonna go watch some fucking Netflix. I'm not gonna witness and experience an absolute bloodbath. So you guys have fun.
What are you talking about, dude? It's the first duel in the desert of the year, man. Koa Pete, Jaden Bradley versus Maurice Odom and Anthony Johnson, aka Pig Glizzy. This is going to be pure cinema, man. No, UofA is going to handle business tonight. ASU has had kind of a tough struggles over the past couple of weeks. Did have a good win the other night, though, but Arizona is ranked number 1 for a reason. And they're going to have a home court advantage at McHale Center tonight. Shout out Chris and Aiden. They're going to be there tonight. We're going to talk to them next week about all the good things that are going on in Tucson. But Niko, you're taking the under, though, right? Under 21.5. Come on.
Dude, I don't know. This one's kind of hard. They got Koa Pete, man. Koa Pete is a Perry product out of Chandler. And that man, I'm not even going to say, boy, that man is a dog. Absolute stud. Probably a next level player in my eyes. I'm kind of with Tallman, y'all. I'm not sure if I really want to watch us get strapped to the back of a truck and drugged. You know, like I don't know if that's in my to-do list tonight. I love the Sun Devils very much, but I've always been a realistic Arizona sports fan. And if that line is at 20, we're getting beat by 35. Koa Pete's gonna have 40 by the end of it. It's gonna be rough, man.
I mean, I don't think ASU should feel bad. I mean, look at this graphic right here. Arizona, the University of Arizona has a number 1 next to their name. And that's not number 1 in the conference. That's not number 1 seed in a tournament. That's number 1 in the entire country right now. They're undefeated. They're the best team. So obviously Koa Pete is on a tear. Think he's pretty much going to be a one and done player. High probability he's in the NBA next year. Very familiar with the Pete family, but yeah, man, I might be with you guys. I'm gonna probably be in and out of this game, but I don't think I'm gonna watch it start to finish. Mike, before we get out of here, did you have any last thoughts on this game, the NFL head coaching search, or anything else?
Well, it sounds like I'm alone. I will be tuning in tonight. I gotta check out what's going on. Man, I mean, I'm really pulling for U of A this year, guys. They've started great. They've had some really tough non-conference games this year, but Big 12 play is coming in, man. We just saw that Kansas took down number 2 in the country, Iowa State. Houston's a good school. BYU's a good ball club. Texas Tech is as well. They're not going to go undefeated, but they're going to have their merit tested here over the next couple of weeks in Big 12 play. But I'm hopeful for ASU at the same time as well, because they did have a really good start. They, went to that championship game in the Maui Invitational as well. But it's been a rough couple of weeks, man. I need them to turn it around, and we have to follow up on our promise to go to an ASU basketball game this year. Shout out to another team that also plays in Tempe, the Valley Suns. Me and Niko will be there tomorrow night as they play the Iowa Wolves. I didn't know that
Let's go.
Minnesota's G League team was in Iowa. That's cool. So the perks are showing from being a Suns season ticket holder. So we'll be out there to check them out. Gonna watch the game tonight. And man, we keep having fun in the Valley, man. Sometimes it's on a negative note, but we're gonna have some fun this year, VSP for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, hey, whether it's the Suns, Diamondbacks, Cardinals, ASU, there's no shortage of sporting activities to attend and participate in the Valley. So that's why we're doing that. That's why we're here. We're having fun. So I'm excited to hear about your guys' experience out there. I would love to make it to a Valley Suns game sometime. That sounds like a lot of fun. But Tallman, we'll kick it over to you next, man. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. No, it's been fun, guys. Like always, there's always some shit going on. But switch it up. Golf World, you guys see the returning member program introduced for Jess Brooks Koepka, and it's hilarious. Everyone is so pissed off that he just cashed in. Now he's back, cashed in for that blood money from the Saudis. Now he's back on the tour. But what's great is he is going to be in the field for the Phoenix Open, the Waste Management Open. So you're going to have to keep an eye out for him, Niko, when he's doing those practice rounds.
Oh yeah, I've heard there are a lot of butts that were hurt at that news. But there's a ever growing belief that at some point in time this is all going to come to a head and Live Golf will fold and all those players will be forced to either retire or return. One of the other funny storylines, Tallman, I'm glad you brought that up, that I heard that came out of that was they did bring back this player return program or whatever it's called, specifically for him, but also, open it up to anybody else if they decided they, extending the olive branch. Hey, if you want to jump ship, you can come do it as well. But one of the caveats was you had to have won a major championship or one of two types of events within the last, I think it was an open or a championship within the last, since 2021 or something like that. And all these players had qualified there on Live Golf, except for lefty Phil Mickelson, because his last had come in like 2020 or something like that.
It's not a coincidence either.
So they basically opened the door, but not wide enough for Phil Mickelson to fit through it. So even if he had wanted to come back, he probably would have had to talk to them and have another different program introduced, which another belief is that there will be an opportunity for that in the future. Because at the end of the day, the PGA Tour will only benefit from having the best players on it, and they're going to be willing to let this all go as much as there are fans that would like to never see these players come back just strictly out of principle. However, I am in the camp that Live Golf will fold. They'll come back and we'll all sing Kumbaya and enjoy the most popular time in golf history, which is happening right now. At least in my opinion, and it's really exciting. But Niko, that's my kind of long-winded piggyback off of Tallman's final thoughts there. But did you have any thoughts on that or anything else we've talked about?
No, I think you guys have pretty much covered everything. It's been good to be back here, boys. Nash is putting her 2 thoughts in as well. I'm excited. I'm excited for I guess excited's not the word. I'm intrigued to see how this offseason plays out for both the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. I think there's still moves to be made for the Diamondbacks, and I think that I think we're probably sitting ducks for the Cardinals. I think I made that pretty clear. But I can't wait to see how it turns out. See you at the Valley Suns game tomorrow, Mike.
Hey, let's go, fellas. Well, guys, there's always a lot happening, especially this time of year. We didn't even get to talk about the Phoenix Suns. So if you guys are still here listening to us live, thank you so much. If you're listening on the playback, you're a real one. And I don't even have to ask you, but please like and subscribe, share this show with a friend, and make sure you get the notification bell right here on YouTube so you can see when we're going live. And that will be next Tuesday at 7 p.m., where Pass the Outlet will make its 2026 return. And we will be talking about the Phoenix Suns, this ASU UofA basketball game that's about to happen with some special guests. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of fun. So please join us then. Find all of our links in the description below, and you can follow us there and stay up to date with everything going on Valley sports related. But gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being on here tonight, Mr. Benjamin, VSP Tallman, and Neeks. It's going to be a good year. I'm very excited for the road ahead and appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight. But For the boys, I'm Chris Patrick, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Wraps things up here, and for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there, thanks for being with us tonight, and from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.